But that led to yet another domino that fell earlier this afternoon. Carson Wentz going to the Washington Commanders. The Colts send Wentz and a 2022 second to Washington in exchange for a 2022 second, 2022 third, and a 2023 third that could become a second if Wentz plays 70% of plays. You have to imagine that will become a second-round pick.
70% of plays in 22 or 23. Because if it's 2023, which is what I would guess, then I don't think it's obvious that's going to...
Yeah, we'll have to take a look at that. I was imagining it was for 2022. But we'll have to confirm that. But let's start with Washington. To me, this is... you're going to go 9-8, 8-9. I don't think that this moves the needle. This isn't the pick I would want. We talked about Jimmy G possibly going over to the Commanders a couple weeks ago. I like Jimmy G more than Carson Wentz at this point, and I think the Colts do too. The Colts are probably going to make a push for Garoppolo. But Washington, I don't know. Is this enough to compete with Dallas in the NFC East? You're probably still better than the Giants and Eagles, maybe Philadelphia.
Doesn't say much.
But Washington, for me, you didn't give up a lot. And you still got a second in return, so it can't hurt to take a flyer on it. But this doesn't do much for me in terms of excitement. It's okay. Well, let's see if Wentz could somehow regain his MVP form of a few years ago, which probably won't happen. So Washington did, Ziggy, go.
The second round pick swap is honestly pretty irrelevant. The difference is 5 spots. They're moving from 11 in the second round to 16 in the second round. So I get something, but realistically, that's a throw-in. It's 2/3 probably for the right to pay Carson Wentz $28 million. And it's I don't know. It's certainly not a blow the doors down trade, but there's really no quarterback better. I think I'd still rather have Wentz than Jimmy Garoppolo.
And you don't want to take on Kirk Cousins' contract.
No, it's Carson Wentz is for a starting quarterback being paid a pretty reasonable rate at 28 here. You hope Washington's defense rebounds, and then you've got basically the same situation the Colts had. And Carson Wentz was just one game from taking the Colts to the playoffs.
Here's the thing, though, Ziggy, and we'll move to Indianapolis now. The Colts are going to look at Jimmy Garoppolo. They'll see if they can make a deal work there. And the reason why the Colts would want Jimmy G is because he's not going to lose you a game. Carson Wentz, that was the expectations, that he would come in and not lose games, but he did last year. He made some big-time mistakes. And Garoppolo, even though he's not going to win you most games, he's not going to make the bad decision to end it. He really won't in most games.
I strongly disagree that Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to lose you games, and I'll tell you why.
Go ahead.
He's going to lose you every single game he's not playing because he's injured. And look, Jimmy Garoppolo's missed a lot of games, and it's not like he only gets injured when it doesn't matter. He's been injured at really inopportune times.
Oh, come on.
If he weren't banged up during that Rams series, maybe the 49ers win. If he weren't banged up during the second half of the season, maybe the 49ers get a better seed, right? You can expect Jimmy Garoppolo to miss 3 or 4 games next year due to injury and have lingering shoulder and ankle problems.
Is Carson Wentz not someone who gets injured all the time as well?
How many games did Carson Wentz miss due to injury last year? If he got in the freaking COVID vaccine,
well, you're saying the same thing.
Any.
How many games did Carson Wentz play injured?
The thing is Jimmy Garoppolo missed games due to injury, right? His injuries were worse. Carson Wentz does not have the injury history Jimmy Garoppolo does. That's just not true.
What do you mean? Carson Wentz destroyed his knee 3 years ago.
ACL injuries aren't the kinds of injuries that repeat.
ACL injuries are still a very significant football injury.
Yeah, but when you're projecting injuries into the future, you have to think about injuries that are likely to repeat. So you look at what Jimmy Garoppolo's had. He's had sprained joints in his shoulder. Those are likely to repeat. He's had ankle sprains, low and high. Those are likely to repeat. He's had injuries to his thumb. Those are likely to repeat.
Oh, come on.
He's getting the worst kinds of injuries.
Come on. Carson Wentz, at the end of the day, Carson Wentz and Jimmy Garoppolo have both been injured a lot. But Carson Wentz makes some bonehead decisions. Jimmy Garoppolo makes less of them. He's a safer option. With Jimmy G, they beat Jacksonville last year. They're in the playoffs with Jimmy G.
I got to listen to Paul. I got to listen something. Didn't Carson Wentz have 2 high ankle sprains this season?
I think he tore both of them. Did not tore,
right? Back to back. So I mean,
did he do it in the same game?
Injury history.
He had one ankle
Zach
sprain.
Coming
he had
from
one
the
ankle
clouds.
sprain.
Zach coming from the clouds. I'm pretty sure he twisted both his ankles in the same game on the same play.
Yeah.
Last year. Thank you.
I mean, I think it's safe to say now that Carson Wentz is just going to become a journeyman and just bounce from team to team as he leads his teams to maybe a couple playoff games every couple years, and he continues to get injured. He's just an upgrade. He is an upgraded. Who were we saying earlier? I'm like
Carson
blanking
Wentz?
out on his name.
He's
Fitzpatrick?
an upgraded Fitzmagic.
Yeah. He's an upgraded Fitzpatrick. That's what he is. Upgraded Fitzpatrick. He didn't even win the Eagles Super Bowl. He didn't even play in that Super Bowl.
No, to be fair to
Colts
Carson
did.
Wentz, he was incredible that season. They probably would have won
Yeah,
the Super Bowl.
he was. I'm not taking anything away. He was incredible that season. But after that, injuries catch up to you.
Hey, Mike, let me ask you this. For Indianapolis, what about Jordan Love? Chris Ballard, their GM, tried to get him in the draft. Green Bay beat him to it. Do they have the assets to make a trade now? He's clearly going to be moved from Green Bay. There's no way Jordan Love.
We don't know how Jordan Love will
4 years.
be. I mean, you could take the chance
I
on
think
him.
he stinks. We all think he stinks. Well, I don't want to speak for you guys, but
We haven't seen him in like the. It's hard to say that because we haven't seen him in any real game time. You haven't seen him in any real game time.
I know, but they know he's no good in practice.
I mean, yeah, compared to Aaron Rodgers, maybe.
But even when Aaron Rodgers backed up Brett Favre, you listen to Greg Jennings talk, you listen to veterans on that team talk, that they could see what was there. You don't hear anything like that coming out of practice in Green Bay. It certainly does not come close to Aaron Rodgers.
You're not gonna. Do you know how rare it is to get the next like Aaron Rodgers?
But would you, if you were Indianapolis, would you want to look into Jordan Love, or is that feels like another one of those teams that with the right quarterback could go far?
I mean, it's a buy low situation where if it doesn't work, you're back at square one looking for a new QB. But then if it works,
I wouldn't want Love.
Works.
So
give a year.
I've got a trivia question for you guys here.
Yeah.
Jimmy Garoppolo has been a starting quarterback for 5 seasons. Carson Wentz has been a starting quarterback for 6 seasons. Right? Is it 6? Yeah, it's been 6. How many seasons do you think Jimmy Garoppolo has played double-digit games, and how many seasons do you think Carson Wentz has played double-digit games?
Garoppolo has been. How long has he been in San Fran? 5 years.
He's been there for 5. He's been their starter for 5 years.
Wow, that's nuts. Well, the year. Are you counting the year that he got traded over there?
Let's not count that. In that case, he's been their starter for 4 seasons.
Okay. I'll say he played 10 games twice.
He's played 10 games twice. Carson Wentz has played double-digit games every single season he's been in football. So Jimmy Garoppolo's missed half of his seasons. He hasn't played double-digit games due to injury. Carson Wentz, it's never happened. How many? They're both injury prone.
How many conference championship games has Carson Wentz gotten to? How many Super Bowls has he got to?
How many times has Carson Wentz had like a top 5 defense and elite skill position players?
How many times has Jimmy Garoppolo got there?
So, I see the argument, right? But I'm not sure it's a fair comparison.
If you switch Jimmy Garoppolo and Carson Wentz this year, you think Carson Wentz gets to the championship game?
He might. I'll tell you what. The Colts don't.
Elementary.
Oh, no, I'll tell you this. The 49ers make the playoffs. The Colts don't.
So you think that might just be a product of the NFC versus the AFC as well?
No, because the Colts are in an easy division. I think it's a product of the fact that Carson Wentz plays his games and Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't.
But Jimmy Garoppolo also plays against the 49ers. I mean, he plays against the Cardinals. He plays against the Rams. He plays against...
playing against the Rams means nothing because he has Kyle Shanahan on his side.
Oh, come on. You got to give him credit for that. If you're going to say the Colts are in an easy division, you have to say that Jimmy played against tough opponents and still got there.
The Rams are not tough opponents. Paul, I've followed the Rams a lot.
Oh, stop.
The Rams are not tough opponents for the 49ers.
They're Super Bowl champions.
They're Super Bowl champions, and the first time they beat the 49ers in the last, 3 years was
if Jimmy Garoppolo's on the Colts, that team is in the playoffs.
Look at his stats against the Rams. They're nothing special. You look at his stats against the Rams this year. They're god-awful.
I don't think that Jimmy, by any means, is a franchise-altering quarterback. But he's someone that you could put in the game and he's not going to lose it. And some games he can win.
Oh, he's going to lose your games sometimes. He lost against the Rams in the playoffs.
He did. No, he did. Yet he has Kyle Shanahan on his side, so I don't know what you're arguing here.
Well, what I'm arguing is when Jimmy Garoppolo gets to throw 0 touchdowns and 2 interceptions and beat the Rams in Week 17, that's not Jimmy Garoppolo playing up to tough opponents. Right?
I'm just hoping that Indianapolis sends picks over for Kirk Cousins, sends something, but I don't think it's going to happen.